Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. If you're looking at the bearded one, must be Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii, 6 a.m. tomorrow in Indonesia, anywhere between 9 and noon tomorrow out in Australia. Welcome everybody. If this is your first time here, my name is Tom Springer and I am the host of the show Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. I have been gone for a couple of weeks, so welcome back to everybody who wasn't with us or who did not know. Hey, I'm here this time. But anyways, welcome to the show. As normal, I have on an outstanding guest. This is actually I identified her as the badass in the write-up, and I stick by my guns on this. And you'll understand when you meet her. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring Brittney Isley in right away so we can just kind of start running with this. So let's bring her on. Hi, Brittney. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. We already got a couple people popping in. This is, as you can see the name, we call her Mary.
Hi, Mary.
She's over in Hawaii. So you hear me read off all the times because a lot of this is kind of the time zones where people are watching from. I get notices where they're from and everything else. So that's why I do all the time zones in the beginning.
Yeah, that's cool.
And this is my wife saying hello to you.
Well, hello, Nicole.
She goes by Nikki, but she writes down Nicole. But anyways, thank you for being on the show. Sandy's already popping in. Hi, Sandy. Thank you for being on the show. I wanted to get you on here a while ago, but we kind of had some things. Well, I kind of had some stuff that went on. My Haunted Fowler, this must be yours.
Yes, what's going on, Dwight?
Jolene's also popping in to say hello. This is going to happen for a while, so once we start talking, I'll just kind of wave. But
Okay.
I like to say hi to everybody when they first start trying to come in. But I met you through your mom
Yes.
in a roundabout way. So everyone knows that I had on a Michelle Roos earlier on before, and that is your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she is an absolutely fantastic person. Oh my goodness, I love her to death. And I got to talking to her, and I was like, "Hey!" And I started. You popped up as a friend suggestion, and I think it's because she and I were friends. And I went, "Sure, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you." And I did. And then you were like, "Yeah, let's do this." And then I started looking at all your background stuff and everything else. And for people who don't know, there's a reason I call you a badass. And it's because of your background. You have a very storied background, and so everyone knows my first question is coming. They're used to this. So first question out of the gates is introduce yourself. How did you get started? What brought you into this world besides your mom?
I'm gonna say my mother.
What brought you into our paranormal world? And basically, what are you doing now? So welcome.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. So my name is Brittney Isley, and like my story started when I was 4 years old, and I love telling the story because I get crazy looks all the time. So I have like astral projected, I feel like my entire life, and it started at a really young age. So at 4, I very vividly remember seeing myself laying in bed, and I was woken up. And it was almost like I was looking down on myself for a split second, and then there was a fairy there. And I was like, okay, I'm dreaming. I'm 4. Crazy imagination, right?
Right.
And I was like, but no, like I can feel it, I can sense it, smell it, like everything was I was just able to feel everything. Like, it was so real to me. So I actually reached out and grabbed it.
Oh.
And it had clothing on it. They're not like pretty fairies that, people depict on movies and cartoons. They're actually very hideous and terrifying, at least the one that I got. And I remember looking at it and I'm like, I'm going to tell my mom you're real. I know you're real. This is not fake. And it got really angry at me, and it just disappeared. And at that point, like I was yelling for my mom to like come in, and it was gone. And then she's like, "It's okay. It's just a dream." And I'm like, "No, it was real." So I don't know. That's like my earliest memory of like something supernatural happening to me. And then as I got older, I was like, well, I see people that aren't there. Am I crazy?
Mm,
Like, and so it was really hard for me to tell the difference between the living and the dead. And when like going through my teen years, I didn't understand that. I didn't have that mentor at the time. And I was scared to talk to my mother about it because I didn't want them to think I was crazy. Come to
right.
find out, my mom is the same way. Like, who knew, right? If I just would have talked to her.
Right.
So after I graduated high school, I joined the Army. And at that point, I was like, I'm just going to dive into this head first. I'm going to see what my abilities are. I really want to speak to the dead. So I started doing paranormal investigating at 17. And now, 18 years later, here I am.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're part of Riverside, Iowa Paranormal.
I am. And I run
Right.
the Indiana chapter.
Right. Yeah, because we had that discussion that I thought you were actually in Iowa. So, okay, so you and I had this discussion because you were saying you're an hour ahead of me. And if you're in Indiana, that means you're right on the Indiana-Ohio border then, aren't you? Like you're probably Fort Wayne or something like that?
No, so I'm in Lafayette. I'm actually like 40 minutes from Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My wife has a question for you. She goes, "How are you 35?" Right? I know.
Just how the world works. I don't know. Time.
Right? I know. But we've
Yeah.
seen your mom too. So I mean your mom looks amazing too. So it just
Yeah, I
must
got
be the
good
genes.
genes.
They must just
Hmm.
be the genes. So
Absolutely.
let me throw this up really quick so people have a quick notification. So I'm a little out of sorts right now. I took a week off because I was traveling and everything else. I'm just getting back into it after a couple of weeks. So excuse me if I seem a little scatterbrained. It's kind of normal, but it seems to be a little worse today than normal. But right here, everybody, everyone knows I'll throw this up here like 3 or 4 times throughout our show. And I'll also post it in the comments so people can find you as well. But here's her information, Riverside, Iowa Paranormal. And she's also a member of the Daughters of Hecate. So right there, all that information. I had to learn how to say that correctly, by the way.
Please tell me how you pronounced it at first. I have to know.
I was close. I said Hecate.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people said Hecate or Hecate
Hmm.
or something else, but just based off of where it was coming from, I knew to sound out the E. I just had the A the wrong sound. So
Okay.
but here's all the information right here for you if you want to go out and check out her sites. The Riverside Iowa Paranormal site is a fantastic one to go follow. You will see these people all over the place. They have upcoming events that you can go take part in. Like I said, it's just an awesome thing to go out and witness. If you go out to the site as well, there's pictures all over of you guys investigating and videos and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I would go check it out. Well, I have gone and checked it out. I would tell everyone else to go check it out as well.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, I actually like and follow you folks. So I mean, I'm a big fan of you already. In fact,
Ooh.
Nikki and I are coming out to one of your locations you're going at to investigate with you.
Which one?
I got it approved through your mom that we can come out to the Rock Island YMCA with you guys.
I won't be there, but that is my favorite location.
My wife might correct me. I'm not sure if it is a Rock Island. It might be Edinburgh, but I think it's the Rock Island.
Okay, yeah, the Rock Island YMCA.
Yeah.
August 5th, I believe. That's when they're doing it.
That might be maybe not then. Maybe it's one earlier than that. Because my wife will let me know. She keeps track of what I'm supposed to be doing sometimes. So she's smarter than me. And yes, I had a comment saying you and your mom have stopped time. I agree. And you don't age. I believe that. Thanks,
Well,
Rosie.
thank you.
Glad to be back too. Yep. See, and Nikki is correcting me. She thought it was Edinburgh, so we're going to be going to Edinburgh.
Oh, another one of my favorite locations. It's incredible.
Are you at that one?
No, what month is that? Because I don't have all of Iowa's events. Like right off the top of my head.
These are June or July. It's got to be either June or July because I know that I am traveling both months for work. But it was during a time frame that I was actually able to get out of there and actually go. So
okay, good. I'm glad you can partake in that.
Well, what happened is Nikki and I started our own. Sorry, I'm talking and typing at the same time because I'm posting all of your information into our comments so people who come in later can actually watch the comments.
Okay.
And it's posted out to Twitch, YouTube as well as Facebook. So anyone out there will be able to find your information. But Nikki and I actually started our own investigation team. And we're looking to team up with other teams just to kind of see how you guys investigate, because we're still very new at this. We've only been together with one team. We only went on a couple of investigations. So we're still pretty new to it. We kind of have an understanding of what we want to do, but we also want to get ideas and kind of pick people's brains who have been doing this for a while. Like I said, I like all you guys. So not that I don't like others. I'm just saying you're the ones who
I'm like, oh, you better fix that.
I know. I like you, and your mom said yes. So
yes.
And it's not that I don't like other places. Let me correct this, but it's because you're also in the same area as us. We're just in Omaha, Nebraska. So
okay.
It's easier for us to get to Midwest areas than it is for us to like go to the South or to Florida or to Jersey or anywhere else that it seems like all the big teams are. And we just have a hard time getting out there, especially with my work and Nikki's being a teacher. We just have a hard time getting places, but your mom was nice enough to say, yep, come along. Let's go to Edinburgh together. So
that's awesome. You're going to love it.
Yeah. We've never been. Really good friends with Kat and Will. Who kind of do that stomping grounds out there. But yeah, we were supposed to go once before, but I had a very bad premonition about it. And it had to do with Nikki, not me.
Okay.
So I made us not go that time. But since then I have the premonition has corrected itself. Where it basically said you can go now. But something bad would have happened if we would have gone before. So we didn't. Nikki is saying that I actually don't have the dates, but it's Edinburgh because I thought it was interesting since you said we shouldn't go last time with our group. Our group went. So yeah.
Okay. She's on it.
Confirming what I just said. But yes. Yep. But yeah. So you started early. You started with the fairies. I see dead people. All that wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
You kind of do that whole thought process. And then you said you jumped into the Army, and then you jumped into what the heck more can I do? Let's jump into that. What else more can you do?
I don't know. I mean,
see, Nikki likes to go the same lines. What are all your abilities? We think the same. So.
Okay. So I don't necessarily like give myself titles or like think about it, I guess, too much. So for me, like, I know my psychometry is extremely strong. Sorry, my cat is up here.
That's perfectly fine. She
my psychometry, it started out too, like, as me giving like love notes to people where like their loved ones would come through and then I would be able to read for them, and it would just happen sporadically. Yeah. And I kind of shut that down because it was super overwhelming. And every now and then I still get that. I allow myself to open a little bit to be able to do that. But as you know, like, you've just gone through your awakening, or if you don't know it, you will know now, like, it's going to constantly shift.
Oh yeah.
So you may be strong in something right now, and then a year or 2 years from now, you're going to be strong in something else, like, until your body and your mind and soul finally come down to one thing and they're like, okay, this is what we're meant to do.
Okay. That's good to know, because right now it's not battling with each other. It's just adding more stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, how much more can I possibly learn without to learn? Because I'm a self-proclaimed lazy person. I don't actually try to learn. It just comes to me. But yeah, they just stacking on top of each other.
And it's overwhelming, right? Like, it's a lot to handle. So now, like, actually for like the last 4 or 5, probably 5 years, it's shifted more towards, I'm seeing the really dark, evil entities, and stuff that, like, the entities that are attached to other people. So I actually got involved with the Catholic Church, and I was working exorcism cases. They wanted to reach out. Well, they did reach out because they were like, well, we got the faith-based stuff. We kind of want to see what it's like bringing in a more spiritual person. So that was interesting. Also very terrifying because I have 2 children, and one of those things was not very nice and came to my house. So I stopped that after about 1.5 years. but I still see the dark entities. Anywhere that I go, I'm able to see them in their death. So like their death date, however they died. So if they were, say I'm in a prison and, their face is hanging and shattered because they were beaten to death, in the prison yard, or, they have a shotgun blow to the chest. Like that's the stuff that I see.
Right.
But they do tell me their stories, and not always good. Sometimes I'm able to help the so-called dark entities kind of switch back to more of a light. If I'm like, listen, I can hear you, I can see you, I can feel you. Like if you feel safe with me, I want you to talk about what actually happened and why you're here in this space now, and how can we get you out. So it's like a whole process of me trying to change them in the afterlife to get them back to maybe move on if that's what they're wanting.
Right.
So that is one of my abilities. And like I said, psychometry. And I'm also really, really good at remote viewing and tapping in. Like if you wrote me on Messenger, I could, if I allowed myself, I would tap in and I could probably tell you what you're wearing, like the color of the shirt, what you're sitting in front of, and, what you're talking about, and smell things that are around you. I keep that on lock pretty hard because that feels like definitely invading privacy.
Right.
When it first happened, I was like, oh, I got to get out of here. Like, how am I here?
Right.
I did it with a friend of mine. Didn't even mean to. Like, I knew what they were watching on TV, the color of her couch, the shirt she was wearing. And it was like I was hovering in a corner of her house. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll get out of here. I don't know what's happening. So
yeah. The first time that happened to me, it hasn't happened often. I'm still working on my remote viewing, but the first time it happened to me was when someone was asking for help. But he was trying to ensure that I was the real deal, because he said he's been in contact with other people or other teams who were just basically telling him, say the Lord's Prayer over a bunch of water and it turns into holy water type of stuff.
Okay.
Because that's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
But he was asking me about being the real deal and stuff. And so I said, okay, well, do me a favor and go sit down on your couch that's over on this side. And he did. He's like, hold on a second. And then I started describing his apartment and what was in each room and how it was set up. And I even explained what color his bike was in his bedroom. And he was like, how are you doing this? I go, I don't know. I'm just seeing it right now as you're sitting there. And it was almost like I was looking through his eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was telling him to get up and walk around. And as I was able to tell him where he was. And he was like, okay. But that was the first time I ever did it. And I had no clue how I did it. And I still don't know how I did it. So
that's pretty awesome. I love it when, like, especially right before I go to a location and do an investigation. So I never get the history on locations because I don't want to like subconsciously have something in the back of my head. And then people be like, oh, you're a fraud. You're making stuff up. And you read about this.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So I'm like, absolutely nothing. No one tell me anything. But I will start like envisioning this location. I will dream about it. I will astral project. And that's how I get all my information before an investigation, and then like just tapping into certain spirit. And then usually I come in contact with those, and other people are like, how did you know this was here? If this is your first time here, like, how do you know? And I'm like, oh, I saw it. I don't know what you want me to do.
Right.
So.
I'm assuming again, I think it's Shay. Is that right?
Shay, yeah.
Shay is saying my spiritual awakening is taking off since meeting Miss Brittney Isley. So, again, someone else who can attest to what you're able to do, or just at least bring stuff out of people just by talking to you. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I love her. She's fantastic. I met her and her friend Heather at the Monroe House when we had an event there in the beginning of March. Yeah. One of the most like terrifying experiences of my life, and I think majority of the people that were there, we all bounced out the second night, and we were supposed to stay 2 nights. We were like,
nope.
I've never left a location till then.
Really?
So in 18 years, never.
Have you ever left another location since?
No.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah, and I think it was March 3rd we had that event. So.
Yeah. I want to share kind of some stuff that you that Riverside Iowa Paranormal also does, because you and your mom, with a handful of other people, went on a trip last year.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Scotland.
You went to Scotland.
Heck yeah.
And it just so happens you have another one coming up.
Well, my mom does,
Yeah,
Greece, and I also believe she's going to Ireland.
I
I
believe
don't know.
Ireland's also on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
I'm hoping to get on the Greece one,
yeah,
and kind of help her out.
I was gonna ask if you're going on any of those with your mom as well, because the pictures were fantastic. You guys looked like you had a blast.
That was home to me. Like I would leave America and move to Scotland. As much as I love America and I served my country, but
Right.
Scotland was felt like home.
Yeah. Shay said it was a good, insane experience for her. Which, oh yeah, because
Yeah.
she was with you there as well. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it
good,
was something.
insane. Is that something you were worried about bringing something home with you, or is that just everything that happened there?
So actually when we left, because we had to go get a hotel room, and we left because my other team member was like, "I'm absolutely not staying here. Like I am leaving." And I'm like, "Well, we can't let her leave by herself." So that's why we all left, but it was a really good choice.
Right.
Um, I was really worried. Even like 2 days later, I'm like, "Something doesn't feel right." I feel like something it felt like it took a piece of me.
Mm.
Uh, but nothing happened. Everything's been safe. I cleansed myself like 5 million times, and everybody else in my house and my space, and luckily nothing. I did have dreams for about a week after that, and I'm like, nope, I gotta sever ties. Um, I think that's the only location I really have no desire to go back to, but at the same time, I'm being called to it.
Mm. Yeah.
So I know my ass will be back there at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to, but I need to.
Well, maybe it's just maybe it's just something that you, yeah, like you said, you need to. It's kind of like that confrontation you need to have to get it over with for closure. So they're saying me too. Shay's right there with
Yeah.
you. Me too. So
Oh, I'm taking her ass with me. Yeah.
do you use what do you use for protection? Do you use crystals? Do you use yourself? Do you use myriad of things? Do you have other members who are your protectors, kind of do the whole bubbling for you and all that wonderful stuff? What do you dig into?
So I used to like be obsessed with crystals. I had crystals all over the place. But then it got to the point where I was feeling blocked. I couldn't read, I couldn't remote view, I couldn't do anything for about a year and a half. And I was like, is it my crystals? Am I too protected? So I started kind of giving them to people because I'm like, oh, well, this one I feel like speaks to you. So I've just been, handing them out, which I think that's how crystals should be anyway.
I do the same thing. Yep.
Hmm. And I wore a crystal when I filmed with the Ghost Finders at Randolph, just because I had a pretty crazy experience the last time I was there. So I wore that as a protection. But I typically don't anymore. So I build this insane protection in my mind. And if I am feeling comfortable, I start breaking down those layers. I think our mind is the best protection we can have, the
Right.
strongest protection if you build it properly and really practice. So that's what I use. Definitely my team members and even the Iowa team members, because we have Reiki masters and stuff there. They help a lot too, if need be. If there's something very like emotional, mental, psychically going on that we absolutely can't control, then that's where everyone else will come in.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's interesting because I still wear a couple of them, but just because I really like the looks of them,
mhm.
but not because I think they're helping me at all. And mine really is same thing. Mine's my mind, and mine is my shield is very close to me because I want that entity, that spirit, whatever it is, to come as close to me as it possibly wants. But I know it can't penetrate because I want it to be right there. I want to know. I don't care how close you are because I'm fine with that, but feel free to walk right up to me. So
Yeah, absolutely.
BJ is saying hello. Hello, BJ. How you doing?
Hey, BJ.
But
Yeah, my safety is huge. So I am very attached to Vikings. I always had this reoccurring dream. I was a Viking warrior, shield maiden.
right,
And I think that's why I took the path I did with joining the army and then being a police officer. Like I have that in me. And once I joined the army, I didn't really have that dream anymore, which was sad. So I think it was kind of telling me like, hey, you did the right thing, follow
yeah,
your path.
yep,
So like my whole mindset and protection is like this massive Viking village, you know, and I got the big pillars and, you know, the Viking ships. Like you have to go through all of my Viking warriors before you can even get to me, like hidden in some big crazy thing before my shield maiden goes crazy.
Right.
So, and then I just kind of break it down step by step.
That is awesome. So you brought up a couple of things, and I'm going to introduce some pictures to us. This is the first time I'm doing this, and you're my first guinea pig. So let's talk about some of these.
Okay.
Everybody, welcome to the new thing on my show. So you are on the Ghost Finders.
Yes, sir. Just got inducted in.
Correct. But this isn't something we can watch yet, can we? Or is this?
They do have 11 seasons already.
Right.
So I know it is on Paraflix, and you can get a discount if you put in Ghost Finders 10 to get a subscription there.
Right.
And I know they have some stuff on YouTube, and also on a Roku app, you were able to access them.
But your episodes that you're in,
we won't be able to have that, I think, until maybe the fall time-ish. We have a lot of filming we got to do, so
yeah,
busy with that right now.
Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, Mama Cecilia.
She's popping in to say hello. All right, so this is one that I was interested in because I thought I read somewhere that you said it's not out yet. The one you're in isn't out yet. They have to wait till they're done filming. But there are some things that you have taken part of, and this is this is a large group that you're in part of here. And I seem to recognize a lady back here.
Yes.
Besides you. So where was this? This had to be pretty recent.
This was with the Ghost Finders.
Because this was this is one of your newer picks that I can see on your site.
Yep. So this was because we filmed that episode. When was it? I think it was the end of March. Sometime in March. And yeah, so Patty Negri is actually a co-owner and founder of Paraflix. Awesome. And she is a really good friend of Rob, who is the psychic medium and the lead of the Ghost Finders, him and his wife, Heather. So yeah, she comes on and does filming with us and investigations. Hello. So she is phenomenal. I love her. She is so down to earth, so amazing, and being able to investigate with her and be able to do psychic mediumship with stuff with her.
Right.
Mind blowing. Because she's like, Brittney, I want you to tell me what you're seeing, what you're feeling. And like every time I told her what it was, she's like, you nailed it. You need to be in my magic classes. And I'm like, Patty Negri's telling me this.
Right. I'll tell you, I actually reached out to her recently to try to get her on my show. And it sounds like she's receptive to it. So I think I might be able to bring her on here as well. So,
she is so amazing. You're going to love her.
Again, hi, Jeanette. So I do tell you that people from all over join in. And I always recognize this one person because she's been following us. She's been following my show since I started. And it was the one who was a Zhang right here saying hi to Nicole as well as to me and you. And when I mentioned Indonesia, she's my follower from Indonesia. So that's why I always recognize her because
that's amazing.
Because it's way early in the morning for her tomorrow out there. So she's actually looking into the past right now. So that's amazing.
How cool is that? Talking to the future right now.
Right? I know. So this was your Ghost Finders group. And yeah, like I said, I did. Patty was nice enough to friend me, which was fantastic because I was following her as it was. And this is how I find people. I reach out and I ask them if I feel for the vibe through pictures and everything else.
Yeah.
I'll reach out and ask. And she was like, yeah, let's talk. She was traveling a little bit right now, but she said when she gets back, let's talk about it. And maybe I'll have her on my show. So the next picture, I'm trying to remember what order I put these in. I wish I could remember, but let's see. Oh, yep. That's you and your mom. So when I talk about Michelle, there she is right there, folks. So in case I've had her on and she was absolutely amazing. Like I said, it was when I met your mom initially through Facebook, and reading up on her, I was kind of worried I was going to be a little intimidated by her.
A lot of people say that.
But then we talked and it was just like we've known each other forever. It was amazing. So I love her to death, and I'm really looking forward to going to investigate with her. And I don't know if you know this, but someone wrote all over your arm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they held me down.
Yeah, I figured. Those are probably your kids doing that kind of work right there.
Yep, so, Sharpie work. Yeah,
yep, that's what it is.
Arts and crafts.
Yep. And this next picture I have is of you I mean, it's in complete concentration. I don't know what investigation you're at, but oh my goodness, the focus on your face is amazing. So,
yeah.
and I have it was hard for me to choose which one of your focused on so hard to actually bring up. I had a choice of which was
Yeah, I have a problem with my face. I don't know, like, because I'm blessed to have 2 photographers on my team, and thanks, Shay. And they're always like, "Okay, serious picture. We're gonna get down and do this." And I'm like, "Ugh, ugh," and they're like, "Brittney," and I'm like, "God, I can't help it." Like, I had so many with the ghost finders too. Everyone was sending them to me, and they're like, "Can you just smile?" And I'm like, "I don't know what to do with my face.
You're like, this is smiling. What do you want?
This is me happy." Yeah.
Does your does your boyfriend investigate with you?
He does, yes.
He
He
does.
is on my team.
Okay. Does he have a specific role? Is he
Our
behind
tech
the
guy.
scenes? A tech guy? Okay.
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
I actually happen to have a picture of you two as well. So
Aw.
so there's a picture.
Yeah.
What's his
That
name?
was Billy.
Billy. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is a great picture. I went out and stole this one. I was like, oh, I'm stealing this picture.
That was
Uh,
my birthday concert in April.
oh,
He took me to see Luke Combs as a birthday surprise.
oh, awesome. Good job, Billy. Way to go. Uh,
Yeah, he's pretty great.
yeah, you guys, I've seen him throw out a couple of shots, and I kind of figured he was on the team somewhere, but I just didn't know what he did. So really, you use him because he's a big guy. He's strong. So you use
Mhm.
him for the tech guy because you actually just make him carry everything. Is that what it is?
Exactly, yeah. I'm a
That's
big fan of that.
yes.
Whatever, I'm the one carrying all the big packs because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I got this."
You're like, go away, I got this.
Yeah,
So
but no, he doesn't. I mean, he investigates, but yeah, his thing is like working with tech. He wants to prove without a
right,
shadow of a doubt that, spirit's there or not, like, and I love that about him because he
right,
doesn't care. Like, he'll call people out and be like, "That's not paranormal, and this is the exact reason why," and then, like, I'll show you that this is mapping in a false positive and this and that. So I'm like, "Go
awesome.
get him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And that segues to the next question that someone just happened to ask. Rosie asked, have you ever taken a picture and have an entity show up in the picture?
I'm sure that I have, but to, like, know right off the top of my head, no. But I feel like there has been. Actually, there has at the Rock Island YMCA. Um, Billy was sleeping, sound asleep. None of us slept that night because, like, our beds were being shaken, like, things
Hmm,
were going crazy, and he sleeps like a rock. And so it's like 6:30 in the morning. Everyone's out because my team goes and joins the Iowa team because it's just
right.
in Illinois, so it's halfway. And everyone's like, we can't sleep, we're telling all these stories. And then I'm like, I'm gonna go take a picture of him and like make fun of him. And then if you look in the background, there's like 3, 4 different faces like forming from underneath beds. There's no light sources in there because the way
Hmm,
it's set up, it's a working furniture store. So I love that place because we all get pics of like awesome beds to sleep in.
yeah.
And yeah, it was insane. So sorry, I'm
Nice.
a rambler. So when you ask me a question, I'll go off for like 10 minutes.
I want you to. Remember, this is your show. I'm just here to introduce you and say goodnight. So this is your show. That's all I'm here for. Uh, and everyone knows this. I mean, my show is known for squirrel moments, and it's fantastic. They expect it. If we don't have at least 3 squirrel moments in my show, then something's wrong.
I feel like that's my brain all the time, and I'm
Just so you-
trying super hard to focus.
Nikki's asking, Austin Benson investigation? What? Where?
Rock Island YMCA, because the whole first floor is a furniture store, and Lisa, the owner, is so magnificent, one of the sweetest ladies you'll ever meet. But yeah, so we all get to pick like Tempur-Pedic beds, and you just, gosh, that's my
Yeah.
favorite place.
We'll have to try to come out to one of those with you to the Rock Island, the YMCA, because we've tried going out there before, but we just couldn't get in with my old team.
Okay.
But you said August 5th, but I think I'm traveling for work. That's why we couldn't go this time.
Okay.
I have the rough job of traveling to Hawaii that week for work. So
Oh, that's terrible.
right, the sacrifices I make because
Yeah.
3 weeks before that, I have to travel to Okinawa for work too. So I'm telling you, this is heartbreaking stuff here.
Can you take me with? I can fit in baggage.
This is the difference between Army and Air Force.
Yeah, you right. Mm-hmm.
Right? You're like, okay.
Yeah.
You're like,
Damn
all right,
it.
what kind of MREs am I going to eat tonight? And I'm like, oh, what kind of food order am I going to put in tonight and have delivered to me?
I don't even want to talk about it. Because I was in Iraq and
Oh, yeah.
I got to go to Balad twice. I was like, someone put me on that mission if I wasn't out with, because I was attached to the infantry unit.
Right.
So I was always out with them. But there was 2 times that I was able to pick up I'm like, I will drive to Balad, and all the Air Force people, they had pools,
Oh, yeah.
hanging out. They had Taco Bells, and I ate Taco Bell, and I was so excited, and a Cinnabon, because like I lived on MREs.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So I was like, this is real life. Like, you guys, this is a deployment. You
Yes.
guys are getting suntans.
That's our deployment for a lot of them. Yeah. It was amazing. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nikki's upset because she doesn't get to go to the places with me when I travel because she'll be back at work.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's gone to a couple places with me. Don't
You had to see that when you come home. Yes. So
Yes.
she does respond quite a bit, and also our dog.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I was actually trying to click on this one because Nikki was saying she sleep on a Tempur-Pedic, but then she have to go buy one, which would probably be the case.
AKA hubby better buy her one. Get her that Tempur-Pedic.
Right. Travel for the per diem. That's right.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do for work? I know you said this is my show, but I want to know.
Well, now, in my past, you and I had a very similar life when I was in the military. But now, in a nutshell, I teach people how to drop bombs on other people. So
okay, I can get down with that.
That's what I do now. My past life, I was a sniper. So you and I probably went through some of the same stomping grounds, I'm sure. So
okay, well, thank you so much. You're a badass.
That will be an off-camera later on discussion.
Okay. I'm okay with that. But thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for yours.
Appreciate it.
I just led the way for you because I'm old and gray, and you can see by the beard and the loss of hair. So
yes, I appreciate you.
At one time, my hair was probably twice as long as yours is now. At one point, my hair was past my butt. So
what?
Yes,
that's insane,
right? And now it's now it's gone.
That's okay. So
now it just started going down my chin instead of out of my top of my head.
There you go.
That's it's gravity worked against me there too. So. So we are getting a thank you for your service. Thank you everyone for.
Thank you, Dwight.
And BJ as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you, BJ.
For your support is what I always tell them because they're the ones who are supporting us back here when we were doing the things out there. So it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I always tell people you're worth it because I always feel awkward when people tell me that. And I'm like, you're worth it. And then I'm like, wait, that sounds weird too. Like, I never know how to respond.
I always respond with thank you for your support.
Yeah.
It seems to be and I mean it when I say it. I mean that they are supporting us while we're gone. So, there's so many people that took care of my family when I was gone.
Yeah.
That were looking after them.
Takes a village.
It does take a village, and holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so when you Rosie's piping in too. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
When you I was just about to ask this question. My wife and I are in sync tonight, big time. Brittney, you have said that the YMCA in Edinburgh is 2 of your favorites, but what is your favorite place to investigate?
Whew. I have a couple. So for our elementary school in Iowa, mainly because that is like a really dark, terrifying place, and I like to push the limits. That if you can ever make it to that location, please do. Actually, I think Iowa's hosting one in October, and if I'm not filming with Ghost Finders, I'm going. I can't wait.
We want to go to that one because we really think it would be interesting to bring Nikki in, who is an empath and a teacher.
Yeah,
so that would
good trigger object.
Yeah,
yep. Yeah, your bait.
Yeah, she would be the victim in waiting, exactly.
Yeah.
So
And then my other one was No Pemming Sanatorium in Duluth, Minnesota, which they are tearing down now if they haven't already. So, like, my mom and I were in there with a couple of other of our team members right after Ghost Adventures, and Ghost Adventures was the first group to go in,
okay.
and we spent the entire week in there. And that place, like, I've never investigated Waverly. I've been on a tour, but I've heard how crazy it is. But I feel like from just being at Waverly, I kind of know like what the energy is like, but No Pemming was like a million times worse.
Really?
Way more active.
Uh-huh.
Like it was insane. So that is a favorite of mine. Missouri State Penitentiary, loved it. I had my first like violent attack there, terrifying in the moment, but I look back on it now and I'm like, that was badass. That
Right?
actually happened, and like 10 people witnessed it.
Yeah.
One of them being a police officer, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm dying, so help me."
Right? Do
So
something.
something instead of look at me.
Yeah. No, it may be dangerous for me to investigate with you guys because I am too dumb to know any better. I am that person who literally we can't find something I'm afraid of. We've tried. My whole life we've tried, and I can't find anything I'm afraid of. So I'm that one who am respectful when I investigate, but I'm also that one that just walks right in. I mean, of course, asking permission, but I just walk in and I'm just like, "What are we finding? What are we finding?" So,
I think that's awesome. I am like that too. I mean, I definitely do get scared, but I still go and I'll do solos and I'll walk around in the dark by myself.
I do the same thing. Yeah,
But
it was like you're supposed to have a team member. There's three of me, myself, and I. I'm good.
right. If
Yeah,
it's a big location, okay, I get it. Like if you don't have walkies or service to call someone to be like, "Hey, I need help." I
right.
understand that. Um, Farrar, if you can make it, I'm actually really curious. And
Mm.
Edinburgh has gotten super dark.
Edinburgh. So I was actually watching through live video a couple of teams that were there, and I was getting a lot of action to me from there, and I was telling them, like in the machine room and a couple other places that were downstairs. I was like, all right. So
Mhm.
and I was warning them a handful of times. I was warning them, this person does not want you in here. And they wouldn't listen, and they got stuff thrown at them and everything else. And they're like, what the hell? And they're like, you're watching through a screen. How do you know this? I'm like, I can tell they're talking to me.
Yeah, I did that like I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Someone was on a friend of mine, and I was like, "Listen, this is what's being told to me. This is who I see. This is what they look like." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Just beware. Like, don't come at me later, you know." And then
Yeah.
they did, and they're like, "How did you know?"
Right.
And then just from like a picture on one of the paranormal teams that I follow on Instagram, they posted a picture of their next location, and I called out exactly what I saw in there, the name of this person, and they were like, "Yeah, we haven't told anybody any of this. Like, we're the only ones with the history. How do you know
Right.
that?"
You know that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm like, "They talked to me?"
Yeah. Yeah. They told me. I didn't ask.
Yeah,
They told me.
yeah,
Um,
me.
Rosie came in a little late. So if you would just repeat this really quick. Rosie is asking, were you born with disability or did you learn?
I'm pretty sure I was born with it,
Yeah.
if I had my first experience at 4. So my mom has it. She has, so we have very similar abilities. She also has some that I don't have, just like I have some that she doesn't have.
Mhm.
And found out that my great Oma, so my great grandma on my mom's side, she was the same way. And so I'm sure it's just been passed down
It's down.
our
Yeah.
lineage that way. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, and Shay's saying that's me. I think that was the comment when I said I just kind of walk in and go, all right, what are we doing here? Let's go. Come on. And
That
she,
is 1,000% Shay.
yeah, so she was like, that's me. And I was pretty sure that's what she was commenting to.
Yeah.
Rosie is asking, is an asylum or a penitentiary more dangerous?
I think a penitentiary. I do. You go into, I mean, these were male dominant places, and then you stick females in there, you
Right.
know, and you have the worst of the worst in these buildings when they were alive. They're not any better when they're dead. And asylums can be very creepy, but I feel that the spirits there, I mean, they don't understand even in the afterlife, which is really sad to see.
Yeah.
The only thing really bad in asylums is that the evil and the dark that comes in feeds off of that. And that's what makes it really scary, really bad. The penitentiary, they are very intelligent. Also dark things in there, you know, because of all the bad stuff that happened.
Right. But but with the asylum, you'll notice that a darkness will come into it because of what happened, whereas and take advantage of that. Whereas in the penitentiary, they kind of create their own darkness.
Absolutely, because they're dark. So like my thing on that, I think people that are serial killers and whatnot, not saying all of them, but I feel like they have all had dark attachments where they were possessed by something, just because no one can figure out how their brain works to make somebody that way.
Right.
So what is it?
Yeah.
So then and I think that's where these dark entities kind of come from in places like that. And also with asylums, a lot of people go in there and bring in dark baggage.
Right.
And it's so shitty because then it feeds on these patients that are still stuck there, and it breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nikki had a statement question. That's something to think about. What will happen to those spirits when they rip down their place? What happens to them when their home is gone?
I don't think they have anywhere to go. I think to them, they still see the place that they are in. So even without a building, the land is going to be tainted.
I think you can relate this to indigenous persons, how when stuff is built upon their grounds, stuff seems to happen. And I think it's because even though that's their place doesn't exist anymore, that is still their place.
Absolutely.
That's their land. That's their grounds. That's what they know. That's what they're used to. And that's where they've chosen to be. And I think that is why that happens to places like burial grounds or whatever else.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, I think the land is saturated in it. And I think spirit, because I feel like majority of them are still working in the same space that they knew when they were alive.
Right.
So even if that building's not there, they're still in like a residual time loop. Even if they are able to communicate intelligently, it's still like a residual visual thing for them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to go anywhere unless you can move them on.
Yeah. I believe with that, but I also believe that some are aware enough that they have the consciousness to move on if they want. I think some are just stuck, but I think others are like, I'm good. I'm going to go somewhere else now. So
I also believe in that too. I feel like if they feel that strong energy pool to, somewhere else, that they're able to go back and forth. Because I've been on investigations where there's another haunted location a couple blocks away,
right.
And you'll get spirits that go back and forth. And I'm like, and that's, I try to figure that out and I love it.
Yeah, I just saw you over there.
And I always ask, and I'm like, okay, so what do you travel on? Like, how do you get from where you are supposedly stuck? How are you here now? And how do you have the way to go back and forth, the means to go back and forth?
Right.
I will go into rabbit holes.
Oh, I do the
trying
same
to figure it out.
I do the same thing. I am such a nerd. It's ridiculous if we start talking about that. How my wife will find it very interesting and entertaining, but she will glaze over when I start doing that and just be like, sure, that's a really big word. No.
That's what my boyfriend does too. Yeah.
And I'm Mary, God bless you. They have a tendency to put up words that I don't know how to say because she's saying it's a Hawaiian word.
Yeah.
So awa makua, I think, like our awa makuas here, they'll remain. So she's talking about her spirits too that will also remain in their location. So Mary, you gotta tell me, did I say that right? Awa makua? I don't know if that's right or not. I know it's got to be close. Because they always tell me in order to sound out the words correctly, you have to say every single vowel.
Yes.
So that's what I was attempting there. So we'll see if Mary tells me I'm correct or not. So,
All right.
and for sure on the traveling.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
We actually encountered that
And
when
got
I was there.
so,
Oh, good. You did it.
yeah, they never give me simple words. They always type it out in their native language, so they make me guess how to pronounce it.
Well, you're
So
learning new things. It's good. You're always learning.
I'm always learning, and I am one of the lowest common. I'm a nerd, but I'm also one of the lowest common denominators. So I am always learning. So,
I feel that. Oh, I feel that on so many levels.
I teach the class, you know, for what I do for a living. I teach the class, but I always tell them, I guarantee every single one of you will pass because I am the lowest common denominator, and I taught to the level that I learned it at. So they're good.
Yeah.
And she says she's getting me ready for my trip to Hawaii, which is in August, which means I'm going to have to reach out to all of you when I come out there to see if you guys are around anywhere. Just throwing that out there right now. And Jeanette is saying spirit can be two places in once. So,
yep.
So very interesting how that works. I would be interested in if we can identify, just an experiment type thought process here. If we can identify when there's the same spirit in two different locations, if we could hook up recording devices and ask questions and see where they answer from.
Absolutely.
So that would be something interesting to try to tie into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about, so I know you guys do a lot of buildings. You guys do a lot of locations. Have you ever done cemeteries? And how did that go?
So I enjoy cemeteries. I find them very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go out and actually like take picnics and eat with the spirits out there, like in daytime. And I'm like, I'm going to come give them company. There's one specific cemetery that I try and take all my team members to train them, see if they can open up and see if they have abilities when they're like interested in joining the team.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a really dark place. So like they will learn real quick if they have abilities or not. So we've never like hosted events there or anything, but yeah, personally, I enjoy going to cemeteries. I know some of my other team members do as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I've told the story on my show a few times, so bear with us, people, if you've heard this before. But my team, when I did my bad stuff way back when I was in the military, my team, we would sleep in cemeteries because local customs for people where they were afraid of spirits rising in the middle of the night. And if you came by the cemetery, then these spirits would come out and they would grab you and they would take you with them back underground. There's a lot of different beliefs like that around the world. And so we would take advantage of that fear and we would sleep in the cemeteries knowing that no one in the local area would come by the cemetery at night. But there were a couple of times where we would sleep in the cemetery, then we get up in the morning, we walk through the small villages, and people are just chatting away about all the noises coming from the cemetery because a couple of my guys snored. So they were talking about the loud noises the scary noises that were coming from the cemetery, and they thought they were being attacked. So they said they all went inside, like locked their doors, and like
those poor people. Right? That's hilarious, though. Not gonna lie.
We just walked through like nothing to see here. Nope, we were not in there. Nope, wasn't us.
That's great.
And so Rosie is saying, I think with them being from a different dimension, they probably are in different places at the same time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's very well possible.
And multiple dimensions at that. So
yeah, that's again one of my nerdiness is the dimension sides of things.
Yes, same.
Yeah, my wife knows this. One of my degrees is in quantum mathematics and theoretical statistics. So, yeah, so it's just kind of all. So it's really nerdy all around because it's dimensional and interdimensional and multidimensional and multi-universe and everything else kind of talk. And then we're throwing probabilities of statistics on top of it, so it's even better.
Heck yeah. I'd be interested in having a conversation like that with you sometime.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic. Rosie's saying, my husband said he would give me $100 to sleep in the cemetery. Can't be too scary considering the grounds are blessed. So
That is a good way to look at it.
it is, yeah.
But unfortunately, there are some really crappy people out there that go out there and
do bad things.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. They will use it in the exact wrong way that it was meant to be used for.
Mm-hmm. And it ruins it for all the spirits that are still hanging out there, unfortunately.
Yep. And my wife is making fun of me. She said he can't even say it. It's a Monday night.
But he's got the degree. It's fine.
I didn't go to work today, so I didn't have to talk to anybody. So it was fine. Words are hard right now. Leave me alone.
That's great.
Oh, but yeah. So, what is next for you?
Well, I have another shoot coming up with the Ghost Finders at a location I can't disclose, but I'm sure they'll give it away when we're on set. So I'll be sharing tons of pictures there. So that's coming up.
Like I don't even get like a little scoop on my show. Nothing at all. Not even.
I can't. It is in Indiana.
Okay.
So we got 2 right now in Indiana, and then we have one in coming up a couple months later, and it's down south. So I can't wait for that one because I get to be warm.
Yeah.
For about 5 days. So, and then my team has our next event at Randolph County Infirmary in Winchester, Indiana, August 4th. Very much looking forward to going back there. And Indiana State Sanatorium reached out to us, and they're wanting to get my Indiana chapter back out there multiple times this year. So that is incredible. So that means when we hosted our event there, they really liked us, and I can't wait to go back. That place it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I would love to spend more time there, and I think we get the chance to do that. And then I think we're going back to Monroe House, my mom and I, with so my boyfriend and then another one of my team members. So we're wanting to film something there. And we're supposed to stay for 3 nights, but no one can stay past 2 nights. So we will see how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of filming stuff coming up, a lot of collab work, a lot of events. That's it. And staying busy with my 2 little kiddos and sports and
your cat.
Summer break coming up, my cat, my dog, the gym. I work out every single day. So
yeah. I said that as well. I said you're a badass, you're an inspiration. Folks, I'm telling you, if you haven't gone out, if you don't know Brittney, it's not just for her paranormal side, but just her work ethic is just phenomenal.
I appreciate that.
Even when you were injured, I mean, you were trying to do stuff and people are telling you stop doing this. And you're like, but I gotta get back out there.
Yeah.
So, but it was, you are very much an inspiration to many different people. I can tell by the messages they send you. I can tell by, just how I react when I see the stuff you do, and I know they're reacting the same way. So it's just phenomenal. So just keep doing what you're doing because it's just outrageously awesome.
That made my night. Thank you. That means a lot. I always like when I post stuff like that with working out and things like that. I want to reach people. I want to let them know like it's okay, or if you want to get started. Like don't be scared. And I always have them every step of the way. And the hardest part is getting started.
Right.
But you need people in your corner, and hi, I'll be that person.
Right.
I'll help you.
Yeah, and that was actually something outside of the show that I wanted to talk to you about, because I am a broken person having a hard time getting started with a lot of injuries. So
understand that all too well. Just so it's out there. So I broke my back, my right hip, my right knee, my right foot. I had a traumatic brain injury and internal bleeding, and I died for 2 minutes. And I was told that I would never do anything again on my own or lift over body weight. And I was like, once I am healed and I am through all my PT, and I'm going to show the world that that's not true.
Yeah. And you have it. It's been phenomenal. Like I said, every step I've been watching it. So it's been awesome. Well, as much as you share.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome. It's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Nikki wants to know, so when you are on locations, on these productions, how long do you actually investigate? How many days and how many hours each day? So when you're doing stuff
Oh,
like when you're doing stuff like the Ghost Finders and stuff like that.
brutally long days.
Yeah.
So we investigated for 2 days straight. I mean, why there's other people filming their parts. All of us are quietly on like opposite ends of the location, investigating, doing our own thing, doing photo shoots because we have all the really awesome professional photographers and we're like, take pictures. We want really cool pictures, right?
With your awesome smiles. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, like, yeah, I'm super, super photogenic. And yeah, but that first day I was up at 4 a.m. and didn't get back to my hotel room till like 4:30 a.m. that next morning, because after we did shooting for the day, and you showed that picture, we all went to another location that just opened up, with a very insane cult leader that used to run out of there. I'm not able to give that location name away quite yet, so we decided to investigate more. And then we were up at 7 a.m., so only a couple hours sleep, and then it was an all-day ordeal again, up until like 4:35 a.m. It's rough. It's long.
Yeah. Rosie is asking, so when you say long days and you're tired, are you more vulnerable to the entities?
Absolutely, because you let your guard down. So you have to be very careful with that. So for me, I try to ground myself first thing when I wake up and I'm like, okay, you know what you're getting into, you know what is already there. You experienced the day before. Like, actually, that second day, there was an entity there that took out most of our females that day.
Wow.
And yeah, Patty and Megan and I were cleansing and helping everybody. And also Megan, who is one of the witches on the show, she's beautiful, which she's in that picture that you put up.
Right.
She actually had to be cleansed by Patty. Like, it was really intense, and that's just because everyone's drained, and it's hard to summon that energy to keep it up to protect yourself.
Yeah, I can imagine. So this is the picture we're talking about right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is your group right here.
Yeah, we were missing a few.
Yeah, I figured.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in the other location that the gentleman in the back, Dan Allen, he owns this location. He owns Randolph, Stone Mansion. I believe he owns a jail and a speakeasy and something else. He owns quite a bit.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Some really awesome locations.
So I have to ask, I see a couple more questions here, but I have a question. I'm the host, damn it. Back off. When you are doing this, or when you're doing the Ghost Finders, is this going to be an entire series for it? Is this like an entire season of your team doing the Ghost Finders?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I didn't know if it was just like a couple of episodes that you guys were in, or if it was going to be like an entire series, or like.
So it's not my team on there. It's just me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I mean, with this group, you're in there for the entire season.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. So we're doing all of season 12 right now, and they haven't said, but I assume they're going to drop them all in like one binge-worthy thing.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, because I remembered when you posted that you were going to be a member of this.
Yeah.
That was really cool to see because you were really excited about it.
I lost it when Rob asked me the second day of filming before we even got back to location. He just walked up to me very serious and he was like, I just want to welcome you to the team. You're everything that I've, looked for and what. Like, I can't remember verbatim what he said because I just kind of what? And I squealed and I started like tippy tapping like this in the air. And then I jumped on him and he's just like holding me and he's like, this is the best reaction I've ever had. And I'm like, I'm sorry you're holding me. This might be awkward, but I'm so excited.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Rosie is asking, do you do anything scary and fun for Halloween?
I try to go to as many haunted houses as I can because I am a baby with jump scares. Like, I can go on haunted locations, but jump scares, but I do it anyway because I like to be scared and I just scream like a little girl. Um,
Yeah.
and that's really it. Just try to host events for other people to
Do
be
you dress
involved
up?
in. I do with the
Yeah.
kiddos. Yeah. So my boyfriend and I are going as Vikings this year, and he's already in the process. Like his beard's getting long. I'm like, you're growing your beard and your hair out, and he's got that whole like hat, like little bit of hair there, and he's keeping it short here, and it's starting to get long, and his
Yep.
beard. He's never had a beard, so. And I'm
Yeah.
going as like a crazy shield maiden. Like I'm like, we are going all out.
Yeah. I'm normally
So
so I'll let you know that I am Norse. I'm Norse. I'm Norse and Native American, so I'm a very interesting mix of culture.
yeah,
But I for the past couple of Halloweens I have worn the whole kilt outfit, and have dressed up as very evil things to scare kids in a haunted house.
yes,
Nikki's brother actually sets up a haunted house in his garage, and it's not a huge thing, but we have actually about 6 or 7 people that show up to haunt this 3-car garage as people walk through it, and it's a lot of fun.
heck yeah.
But it seems like the past couple of items I have been, people have really been like, that one scares me. So,
I need pictures.
yeah, I will share them with you. I can't pull them up
Okay.
right now, otherwise I would, but I will definitely share them with you. One I'm actually wearing a pig head, like a pig's face.
Okay, that's
Um,
terrifying. Yeah.
and yeah, and then another one I am a very wicked looking jester. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so I will share those with you. Nikki wants to know, what is your grounding of choice?
Just going barefoot in the grass. And I also like to just lay in the grass. I keep it very simple. When I first started learning how to do all of this and control everything, I would pull everything in. And that was just overwhelming to me. And then, like, I couldn't really pick out what actually called to me. Um, so now I will just go and I will just lay out in the grass and I will just try to meditate. And I think of that mental Viking village I have,
Right.
and I call to all of them. And it's weird. I don't even know how to word it without it sound crazy, but it's like they're each one of those people are like filling holes in my body that I need. So we all become one, and then I feel good again. And also Native American. So I don't have any Native American blood in my body,
Mm.
but I still have a reoccurring dream of being a Native American healer as well. So I'm wondering if that's where my abilities, I don't know, or it's an actual spirit that like feels drawn to me just from a
Right.
young age. I don't know. So I call to
Oh,
them as well.
dang it. I never try to open up in my house ever, because I just try not to. And you said that, and I got the answer. So
What was it?
it's they're telling me it's you. It's in you. It's from your past. So it's still
Okay,
part of you. It's still in your DNA. It's still part of you. That's why
which
you
is
have that recurring
crazy.
dream. Is something you did in your past. You were a healer in your
Hmm.
past. And it tied to a Native American. In fact, it actually, oh, wow, they're talking big time to me now. Um, you were actually tied to the Navajo Nation in your past as a healer. Um, I sorry, normally I don't get
Oh,
off like this,
no, please, because no one's been able to give me answers
but
ever.
yeah, I mean, I can actually see what you looked like. I can see what you wore. So
I
even
would love to know
even
what.
my wife said, "You got him to open up here pretty well." So she, even she was surprised by it. But it's just like, a lot of times if I'm sitting down here and people will start talking, and I'll get voices. Like I got one earlier when you talked about penitentiary versus asylum, but I was able to push that one away. But this one just slammed into me and well, nope, start talking to her. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start talking to her. So uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah, tied to the Navajo Nation. Uh, everyone pictures. Unfortunately, everybody has a depiction in their head. It's always the older lady who is the grandmother of the group, who's the healer. You were a younger healer.
mhm.
You were definitely a younger healer, and yes, even then you were walking barefoot. Um,
I just got chills. I was just about to tell you that's what I see in my dream. All I see are my feet and they're dirty and I'm barefoot walking
Yeah.
through a village and
Yeah.
then I see my hands, but to me, I look like a man, but I can't tell. And it could be because I'm just young.
You're not. You're a
Okay.
very, it's like you are now. You're very fit. You're very strong. But back then they really didn't have that femininity built in them. They were warriors
Right.
as well if they needed to defend, so that's you. That is you. That's what I'm seeing. I could even tell you the beaded what you're wearing and everything else. So but yes.
Yeah,
So
I have it too. I've always been drawn to like the turquoise and all of the Native American stuff. Every location I go to, and like even my mom can attest to it, like the Native Americans on the land always come to me. They flock to me.
Yeah.
And I've had like my DNA done. I am Norse, European, and Scottish, like these crazy mixes, so I don't have that DNA in me. So it's crazy to me. And my boyfriend, he's Cherokee.
Right.
And I felt so drawn to him. And I'm just like, I feel at home.
And I'm Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and Cheyenne. I'm actually 4 different nations.
Dang.
So but I think that's why they talk to me so easily. And like slammed into me to start talking about you. And it's almost like, if you've ever had a starseed reading done.
No.
Okay. Well, that's something else we get to talk about.
Do you? Yes, please.
I actually have someone who does starseed readings.
Okay.
She just did mine, so I can put you in contact with her.
Please.
But it's the same thing. Like when I get the reading, it says you have DNA from this location, or you have karmic energy from this location, and that's what it came into me, is like you have a DNA from your past. You're made up of a lot of different sections, but that Navajo Native American healer, younger woman. And when I'm saying younger, she's probably late 30s, early 40s. She's not the typical, as you see in the late 60s, early 70s, withered older lady. No, she's not. She's still very young. She's very pretty. She has the longer hair, almost stereotypical of what you see, but not quite. She's very fit. She's very strong. She's very upright. She has a great presence about her. So yes. So Nikki's telling you this is a rarity, people. Tom doing a reading. Yes, it is. I never plan readings. I never do. I've never planned a reading in my life. I've only read, like if I were ever to be asked, hey, can you do a reading for me? I don't know.
Right.
I only get these when it comes to me and says, you need to start telling this person about this. And that's just what happened with you. So sorry about that.
No, I appreciate that. No one, like anyone I've ever spoken to, has never been able to tell me.
Yeah.
I try to explain like the reoccurring dream I've had since I was little. It was between that and the Viking one that I had all the time growing up. So, but yeah, I mean, they're always there with me, and like I call to them a lot. So back to that whole grounding thing, like I speak to the Native Americans as well. Some of them like me, some of them really don't. They're very angry, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yep. You'll also have to tell me. I'll see how this triggers you a little bit. Thank you. I appreciate it. See you later.
Bye, Dwight. Thank you.
Thanks, Dwight. You also have to tell me what your tie is with horses at some point too. So.
Okay.
Because I know you have a tie with horses. I can tell. So we'll have to talk about that later too.
Okay.
So, sorry again.
No, this was incredible. Thank you.
So again, everybody, this is my guest tonight, Brittney Isley, part of the Riverside Iowa Paranormal, and one of the members of Daughters of Akate. I will let you know, to be a member of Daughters of Akate, you do not need to be female.
No.
Just so you are aware, because I actually had to ask that question. I asked your mom that question because I asked something about Daughters of Akate, and she's like, well, why don't you just become one of our members? And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, just jump on there and we'll let you in. I was like, but my beard. And she goes, And I was like, okay. So yeah, so I'm actually a member on there as well. So it's
I love
yeah,
that. That's awesome.
yeah. So let's see. I have more comments coming in, so I'm going to click and see what's over here.
Okay.
Ajang is saying, "Thank you for the great show. You both are awesome." Thanks, Ajang. I'm guessing
Thank
you're
you.
having to go, but if you are, thank you for coming on. I love the fact that you come on every single Monday. She's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Rosie is saying, "So my daughter did the ancestry test, and she got a notification about a 4th through 6th cousin with the same blood for me and my husband. And I am from South Dakota, and my husband is from Mexico. And I told her it's probably from past lives because I was told we had 3 lives together." So it's very possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very, very possible on how that works. Because Nikki and I have lived lives together before. We know that too.
Same
Rosie
with
said,
my boyfriend and I.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Rosie's saying, "Get in touch with your feminine side." Is that to me?
But if it's to me, she got totally pegged it because I am like, it's really hard for me to be girly.
It is.
I can be girly when I need to be.
You, it's funny because I tell people, well, why, Rosie? I'm fine with my feminine side. I have 8 older sisters. I don't have a choice. So, but you when you pose for your workout pictures, when you take your workout pictures, it is such an awesome look of strong female, just period. End of discussion. Nothing like it. And it's really cool to see. And it's the way you pose. And I wish more people would especially females, because I'm around a lot of females who question themselves, and they shouldn't. They really, really shouldn't. And it kind of breaks me a little bit when they do that, because they don't understand how powerful they actually are.
Right.
And I almost wish I could just have like everybody just follow you, just for that part. You want to know what a strong feminine looks like? You want to know how to be that person? Go follow Brittney.
Please do. Send them my way. I'll love talking to them.
See what she does and see how she reacts and how she acts and how she is every day. And this is how all of you girls can be. This is not, this is how you don't have to be the timid, shy, quiet. You can have your own strength. You can have your,
absolutely.
And that's something that I wish that they would understand. So
yeah, but unfortunately society now kind of knocks us down quite a bit. So like I understand the confidence on that, and it took a long time for me to build up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they want to follow me, please, like I would love nothing more than to speak to them and build them up. More women supporting women. Like I freaking love that stuff.
Nikki said she sent her request. Would you send her request? So, and then Rosie's asking, what do you want? What is she on? She's on Facebook. You can find her under Brittney Isley on Facebook. That's how I became friends with her. Is I found her on there through her mom, which kind of threw me off a little bit, because I'm dumb and just paid attention to the last name. And she's like, "Go find my daughter Brittney." So I typed in Brittney Isley, and I was like, "There's no one out here with that name." So, and then a couple of the girls are saying, "No, I'm an Aries, so they will never be weak and timid."
I'm an Aries too, sister. Hell yeah.
And so is my wife, and she is not the shy, quiet type. So
yeah, me either.
My wife's another one of those badass types. So yep. So that's just how it is.
Aries sisters.
Yep. Well, we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes.
All right.
Yeah. So I think it's probably a good place to end the show.
Sounds awesome.
Trying to wrap it up. So thank you again for coming on my show. If you don't mind, I am going to throw you backstage, but don't leave.
Okay.
Because I would like to talk to you after the show.
Okay.
So everyone say goodnight to Brittney. Good night, Brittney.
Again, good night, everyone.
One last time before we go follow everything here. And if you want to follow Brittney, that one right there, Brittney Isley, right there. See how that's spelled? Spell that and then add facebook.com. And you will be able to find her. All right. So outstanding person, wonderful badass, very inspirational. I would definitely tell everyone who needs that kind of inspiration and love to go follow you.
I appreciate that. You completely made my night.
Nicole is saying, great to have you on, Brittney. You're a wonderful, and Tom was right, quite the badass.
Thank
Nighthawk
you.
was hiding on here. He said, love the show. Thanks, brother. Thanks, William.
Thank you.
He was hiding out here. Rosie's saying good night. Thank you to you both. Stay safe.
Good night. Good night.
So thank you very much again for being on, and I will be right with you in a second, and we will
Sounds good.
backstage. So
Okay.
all right, everyone, that's my show. Thanks for being on. You know, I have no idea. Oh, I do know who's coming on next week. Next week, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get a word in edgewise next week, because next week I actually have on repeat customers. I actually have on, thanks, Mary, appreciate it. I actually have on Taryn Kerper and April Bissett. Two ladies that, again, they're just going to go nuts on the show. I won't have to say a word. I'll just be able to introduce them and sit back and take my nap. And then they'll just keep talking for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, however long I let them go. But anyways, it's going to be a great show. I will be sending out advertisements as I normally do. Expect a couple of advertisements because they both have pretty big write-ups. And I'm going to introduce them both individually. But they'll both be on my show next week. So next Monday, 7 Central, just like we did tonight. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you for being part of my family. And I will go ahead and see you next week. Hold on, slower in English. My words are hard tonight. Until then, have a great night. Love you all.